So for today's recipe, we're going to be using about 3 pounds of ground round, and it's 80-20. A pound and a half of sausage. We have chopped up onions, 3 eggs, panko, or you could use crackers instead of panko, either way. Salt and pepper, tomato paste, tomato sauce, and a dash of Worcestershire sauce, and some garlic powder. So let's go ahead and I always start with my eggs. We'll just dump them in there and stir them up a little bit. Get them mixed in. Now I know a lot of people use milk in theirs. I don't like milk in mine, but it's up to you. You can use milk instead. And the panko, which is your thickener to make it all stick together when you have the hamburger. Unless you're using 100% beef, it's going to have some oils to it, and so you need to have something to make it stick. Tomato sauce, and we have 1 cup. Onions. And we have a cup of onions, diced. Now the tomato paste is a whole can. I'm only going to use like half of this. And because to bring out the flavor a little bit of the tomatoes, you need the salt, which is something a lot of people use salt, some don't. So I'm just going to be moderate on it, a couple pinches of it. Some pepper. And I happen to really like pepper, but a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And I don't ever measure mine out. I just pour a little bit in. It was probably like a tablespoon. So it's really, really hard to mix hamburger and this stuff up when you're using just a spoon. So I really recommend just using your hands and getting in there and getting dirty. Grab a handful at a time. You just keep mixing until everything's mixed together really good. Took me years to figure out how to make meatloaf. I never could get mine to stick together for a long time, and then all of a sudden it all came together when I started using panko or crackers. So everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's flavors are a little bit different. So, all right. Looks like we got most of that mixed in. We'll just finish this up and then put it into a container. Now, one thing I do is separate than what a lot of people do is instead of making one big meatloaf, because this will feed 8 to 10 people, since I'm making it for my own house and my kids, I'm actually going to make 4 smaller meatloaves. Rather than putting it all into the one big 8.5 by 11 roasting pan or a big meatloaf pan, I divide mine into 4. So you come out with the same exact thing, except for you can either send them home with the kids, the grandkids, or freeze some for next time around. So this is enough to make 4 small meatloaves. Okay, so you press all your meatloaf into your pan so you get it nice and tight so you don't have a bunch of pockets in there that aren't going to get cooked. And then what I do is I always go around the edges and leave room so that the oils from the meat can accumulate around the outside and not stick inside, so the meat can cook independently. Now I'll go ahead and do the rest of them this way, and then we'll set the oven and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. We're going to make the topping for the meatloaves. And what I use in mine is I have a 1.5 cups of tomato sauce, some molasses. I have a 1.5 tablespoons, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, some A1, and Worcestershire that we moved over here and forgot to bring back. Some Worcestershire sauce. So let's go ahead and just, now if you spray your measuring cups before you put your molasses in it, everything comes out pretty smooth and you don't have much left in the pan, in the little measuring cup. some brown sugar. Guess I packed that really tight. It didn't want to just pop out. Some A1. Give it a little bit of zing. That's about a tablespoonful. And some Worcestershire sauce, again about a tablespoonful. Now this just gives the meatloaf a little bit of texture to it, gets a little bit of sweet, a little bit of sour. And just make sure you're mixing up your brown sugar really well. And then we just pour it on the top. Two of them out. Set them up here for the twist. And then the other two, we're going to just add some more sauce to them so they can get a little more done. Alright, here we're just going to add some more sauce that we used before, which is, remember, the molasses, tomato sauce, Worcestershire sauce, A1 sauce, and brown sugar. So this will give it a little bit of a crust on the top. Use the last of that. And then for ours with the twist, I have some peppers. These happen to be mild, so if you like spicy, you can go to any heat you like. You take a pepper and you put it on top with a piece of Monterey Jack cheese. Like that. And we'll just kind of do one crisscross, like that. And then you pour tomato sauce over the top of it. So there you have a meatloaf with a little bit of a twist. This is how my mama used to make it every once in a while. And when I make it, I think of her. Okay, back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Cheese melted. Peppers are hot. Set it right up here. And we'll grab one of the other ones and set it up here. And the first thing we want to do is take them out when they're fairly hot because we want to get them out of the grease. So I'm just going to put my spatula right in there.